Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of structure and written expression. It's me Julie and I'll explain about making sense of tenses. Let's get started, yeah? In my own opinion, understanding this topic is super duper important because every sentence in English uses a tense or maybe combination of tenses. So to make sure if the sentence is correct or not, you have to make sure as well if the tense is correct or not. There are a few things that you need to be aware of to make sense of them. The first thing is time signals. Based on my experience, some people find it a bit challenging to choose whether to use verb 1, verb 2, or verb 3, or maybe verb in. Understanding the time signals can help you decide because basically tenses are about time. Well, here are some examples. If you find in, yesterday, ago, last week, 2 years ago, in 1975, something like that, the sentence should be written in simple past tense, which means using verb to or be verb was or were. As an example, this is the time signals, this is the verb. The sentence is correct and complete because the tense makes sense. And here we've got since, for, recently, lately, which are usually signs for present perfect tense. In this example, we've got since January and present perfect. So the sentence is correct and complete. Here, everyone, we've got by. The use of by followed by time usually indicates past perfect. In this example, we've got by the meeting started and we've got past perfect. So this sentence is correct and complete. Why do you have to be aware of the time signals? Because in TOEFL questions or sentence, sometimes the verbs do not match with the time signals. Now, the second thing that you need to be aware of is the sequence of tenses. You guys know that one sentence may consist of 2 or 3 clauses, right? It is possible if those 2 clauses are written in different tenses. That's why you have to know which tense can be paired with which. First, you can pair present tense and present tense, or future tense, or future modal like will, or maybe with present perfect tense. For example, I know she will win the game. This is present tense and this is future tense. The combination makes sense. But sometimes it is possible to pair present tense with simple past. Sometimes, okay, not always. For example, I know that you went to the party. This is present tense and this is past tense. I mean, it is possible that you know something that happened in the past, right? Now let's continue with clauses with past tense. You can combine or you can pair a clause in past tense with another clause in past tense or in past modal like would, could, might, something like that, and past perfect tense. In short, you can say past to past. For example, I knew she would win the game. This is past tense and this is past modal. So if later you see a sentence, I knew she will win the game, then you know which part should be replaced or which part is wrong. The third thing that you should be aware of is the use of passive voice in a sentence. The use of passive voice is pretty common, so you should be familiar with the pattern, yeah? The common structure of passive voice is subject plus be verb plus verb 3. It is always in verb 3 or past participle. The be verb depends on the tense. In here, you can see different types of be verbs depending on the tense, yeah? And for modals, it's very easy. You just need to pay attention with the modal and word be, and of course, verb 3. Now let's see the examples. The first one, before we arrive at the venue, comma, the event had been started by the MC. One of the clauses of the sentence is written in passive voice. You see, subject, had been, and verb 3. So the passive voice is correct. Oh, why don't we look at the sentence a second? This sentence shows us a correct sequence of tenses. You see, the first clause is in past tense, simple past, and the second clause is in past perfect. So you see, the structure is correct, the grammar is correct, and the meaning makes sense. And let's see the second example. This passive sentence is not correct because the verb is written in past verb or verb 2. Meanwhile, for any passive sentence, we always need a verb 3. So it should be the issue can be overcome by using this new system. Overcome, overcame, overcome. It is an example of irregular verbs. That being said, you must be familiar with regular and irregular verbs. Now, the other thing that you should be aware of when making sense of tenses is whether the sentence should be written in active or passive. To answer this question, you should test the meaning. In an active sentence, the subject does the action or the verb, while in passive sentence, the subject receives the action or the verb. So there are two different things here. Let's check the example in here. The sentence is incorrect. Some of you might be asking, why is that incorrect? Miss Julie, you said earlier if the time signal is in, then the sentence should be written in simple past tense. So the sentence is in simple past tense. You see, there is verb 2. So what is the matter? Why is it incorrect? The matter is the sentence does not make any sense. The declaration cannot signed. The declaration was signed. That being said, the sentence should be written in passive to make sense. So it becomes the Declaration of Independence was signed in July 1776. It's clear now, yeah? Now it's time for practice, everyone. In this kind of part, we should determine which one is wrong. I'm now wondering if we are thinking about the same answer here. And I would like to remind you that the parts of the sentence which are not underlined are correct. They can be the clues for you to find the answer. There are more than 2 clauses in here. The first is in past tense, and here is in past tense, but here is in present. The problem is the sequence of the tense is not correct. So it is safe to say that part B is wrong. It should be written in past tense. We began to work. Let's continue to the next one. Analyze the sentence first and determine what is missing. So we've got here time signals, and then we've got subject, and we've got no verb. So what is missing is the verb. Let's find the verb. In here we have time signal since it indicates present perfect. So we can quickly eliminate C and D because they are not written in present perfect. A and B have correct grammar. What you need to do now is to test the meaning. In the sentence, does the subject, which is a number programs, do the actions or do the verb, or does the subject receive the action? Yes, you are correct. In this sentence, it will make sense if the subject receives the action. That means it should be in passive, yeah? So the answer is B. That's it, everybody. I have explained about things that you should be aware of when making sense of tenses. See you in the next video.